All the second stage tanks now pressurized. 35 seconds and counting. We are still go 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. This is Zach Cry with the Jam Space Podcast, and we've got a bonus episode for you this week. But before we get into that, I want to let you guys know my new album, All the Same, drops April 16th. I've got pre-orders up right now at zachcry.bandcamp.com for just $5. And if you get one of those pre-orders, you get it a week early. So that's April 9th for you guys. Also got a lot of cool merch on there. We got a whole line of Fuck Zach Cry t-shirts and hoodies. Really fun stuff. My guest today is Mr. Matt Bacon from Dropout Media. He's the co-host of Dumb and Dumbest podcast, and you can find him on social media at bacons.bits. He's just... we'll get into it in the episode, but this guy has so much information and advice on how to work your social medias in the music industry, and it's very helpful for artists like myself. And we're going to call this episode Matt Bacon Sells Me on TikTok. Let's get into it. I want to thank you for coming on the Jam Space podcast, man.
Of course, man. Are we live?
I just started right now. I didn't get what you just said at first, so.
Oh, all good.
So I've been following you for a few years now. I mean, I think you're like one of the bastions of advice for people like me that want to rock and roll but don't really know how to work the fucking mojo. So you've really helped me. You've really shown me the way for the past couple years.
That's awesome. Thank you for saying that. That's very kind of you.
You got Bacon's Bits. You got Dropout Media. You work with Curtis on the Dumb and Dumbest podcast. And for a while now, man, you've just been beating me over the head with this TikTok thing. So I just wanted to have you on here and just get it straight from the horse's mouth. What's up with TikTok, Matt?
TikTok is the greatest fucking social media platform ever invented. I've made more money on TikTok in the last 3 months than I ever thought possible. Ultimately the thing with TikTok is it's kind of cool because it there's a high learning curve, right? So whereas Instagram, it takes 2 hours to learn all the Instagram rules that you kind of need to know to be good at Instagram. With TikTok, it's more 10. And because of the way TikTok is, it leans into authenticity in a way that other platforms do not, right? So what's kind of interesting that you'll see is you could give me 180 pictures and be like, Matt, run the Who Do I Kill Instagram for a year, and I'd basically be fine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can't give me 180 videos and be like, Matt, run the Who Do I Kill TikTok.
Because it's time-sensitive stuff?
Because it's time-sensitive stuff, because you're playing into that component, but also because, it's just, you have to understand how the content style is, how you're engaging with other people, all that stuff, right? It's if you really want to grow, you got to be using trends, you got to be focusing on text on screen, and you got to make sure that the text on screen you're using is in sort of the way that makes sense within how other people are doing it. There's a lot of you have to understand that the algorithm on TikTok is the fucking Instagram algorithm on crack, right? It's just so insane, some of the stuff, how quickly people can blow up and how quickly, or how long good content lasts, right? Like I run I have Bacon's Bits or videos on, like, I run the Metal Blade TikTok, and I have videos on there that I posted a month ago that still get views and still get comments. It's almost like YouTube in that regard, where like if you have a good YouTube video, it'll just sort of like feed you forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's sort of the same thing with TikTok. It's sort of like if you make a good TikTok, you're going to kind of be in a good spot and like get traction out of it for the rest of time.
It doesn't just fade away like a Facebook post or
an Instagram post, right? Like I can make my funniest. I have this amazing Instagram meme. I post it once a year. It always gets a fuckload of likes, but it only works once. It's only one bullet in my gun, and it only works for like 3 days. No one's going back and liking it after 6 weeks.
So, do you think with the rise of TikTok, is that going to make stuff like Instagram more relevant? I mean, because they have Reels, which is like the equivalent, I believe. Are you doing things on Reels? Yeah. Is Reels as productive for you as TikTok is?
Reels is not as productive as TikTok, but Reels is fucking awesome. Because Reels is just videos that get double the views.
Right.
So like I don't understand why anyone would not do Reels, because they're just so much better than normal videos. It's like, oh, it has to be 30 seconds. Fine. Fucking cut that shit, because you're going to get double the views.
Right.
Like, just straight up.
So Instagram has the potential to grow alongside TikTok.
I mean, yeah, and like I think that the way people consume TikTok versus Instagram are two totally different things. No one is on a date taking a TikTok of their meal, but if you're on a date and you take a photo for your Instagram of your meal, that's pretty normal. To take a TikTok of your meal would be a much more involved process. No one wants to do that, and I think that TikTok is in some ways like MySpace. In as much as it has this idea of like, it's really for content creators. The
way that I've been,
it's sorry, I got a text from my landlord.
Oh,
it's really for content creators, right? In the same way that like MySpace, like if you weren't a musician or whatever, you could still have success on MySpace. You could still like be on MySpace, but like really MySpace was like a place where it was like you have to be a musician to kind of get value out of it.
So it has a Vines element to it. I never got on Vines. Were musicians able to use Vines to that advantage the way that they do with TikTok?
Smart ones were.
Okay.
So like, I definitely think there's some Vines was like weirdly influential. Like there's definitely some like rappers and stuff who like made their bones on Vines, and that was like the thing that opened the door for them. That is definitely something that happened in a very TikTok-esque way, because like Vines' beauty was like, again, it was the virality, and it was a sort of everyone is a content creator-esque aspect of Vines that made it special.
Now that you're explaining this to me, I'm starting to understand now, because like you're saying, it is a content creator's paradise, TikTok and stuff. Like, because I feel more like a band that's trying to put out stuff for my band, but not so much as a content creator. You know what I mean?
Sure. But I mean, there's even stuff for your band. Like, I think, like, because I appreciate that it's sort of like a weird thing to say and a weird like mindset shift. I think ultimately that you need to like, what I always tell bands is like, go into the trending topics on TikTok and figure out how you can make one relevant to your band. And that'll like get some views and get you to the next point, et cetera, et cetera.
So your typical Instagram post video, okay, I'm going to double this up and put it on TikTok. That's not going to get the same type of engagement. You're going to really have to work TikTok, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I think it's a lot smarter to start with your content on TikTok.
And then move it over to Instagram.
And then, yeah, exactly. Because the TikTok content is the hip type of content to be creating right now. It's, people are eager for TikTok content. They're not really looking for Instagram type content at this point, So you just have to be like, okay, cool. Like if that's what people want, that's what people want. Who are you to judge? So yeah, that's kind of how I view it. Basically, it's just like, okay, cool. Like TikTok content is what people are looking for, so I'm going to go and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to create some TikTok style content, and I'm not going to whine about it.
I was just talking to some guys earlier, and they have a whole day dedicated to making content for these types of platforms, and I thought that was very smart.
I mean, I think that's clever. I just don't see that many people who can really like sit down and dedicate a day to something.
No, yeah, but if you sit down for one day and you make 8 TikTok videos, and now you got content for a week or even more, which is I think is pretty smart. So while we're on the subject, YouTube has like a kind of like a store, like a Reels type of.
The shorts.
Yeah. Do you use that at all? Do you have anything to say about that?
I need to be using it more. I know that my friend Steve Rice from Does It June uses it and has a lot of success with it. I've seen other couple people like run their TikToks on it and have a lot of success. So I don't know. I think it's definitely a platform worth investigating. It's definitely one that I need to be more diligent on, that I've definitely slacked on. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely think it's cool and interesting. I'm definitely a backer.
Gotcha. So this is a bit off the topic, but it's looking like they're gonna be wanting to break up stuff like YouTube and Facebook and stuff. Do you use any like alternative social medias that aren't so popular right now?
Not really, but like I kind of think basically you have to understand that like social media is so ingrained into how economies work at this point, that it's like part of the infrastructure, right? And this is like ultimately like the great mistake Trump made, essentially, is if he had 4 years to declare social media infrastructure and he didn't, and then he got fucking kicked out of social media, and it's sort of like that's sort of the problem, right? Is like social media has just become part of the public infrastructure. I literally don't know how I would run my business if it weren't for social media. A lot of other people out there also literally don't know how they would run their business if it weren't for social media, right? I don't know what percentage of the U.S. economy that is, but I know it's a hefty percentage. And you can't, like, something would happen. I don't know what that would be, but like I think to like ban Facebook would kick so many people's lives to the curb that it's just like absurd.
Absolutely, man. Well,
you know what I mean?
So I really like what you just said, man. And just to kind of steer this back on the topic real quick, because we're almost running out of time. What is your direct like advice for bands getting started on TikTok? What would you have them do if you could just give them a few easy steps?
Go on and just start watching stuff and see what happens, and see like, okay, what can I do that's like this, and like, what can I do to fit my clientele, or to fit my brand that's going to fit into this. And once you do that, you start to get somewhere very meaningful very quickly. But you have to take the time and actually watch the content. And I know you don't want to, and I know you think it's all little kids, but when I post a fucking King Diamond video on the Metal Blade TikTok, I get a bunch of fucking 50-year-olds going in and saying, oh, hey, I used to cover this song when I was in high school.
Wow.
You know, the people are there. You not being there is not a factor. The people are there. You need to show up and be a part of that. You know what I mean? Like, people are there. Stop whining. I understand it's hard, but like, there's such huge opportunity for bands there right now. There's so few bands on TikTok actually doing a good job. And then the bands who I do see do a good job suddenly will get like fucking 30,000 views out of the blue when nobody knew who they were 20 minutes ago.
Oh yeah,
or 500,000 views out of the blue.
I've been closely
And-
watching my boys in Holy Death Trio, man, and I really try to take after them because they do so well with social media and stuff. And John's real adamant about it too. He's like, get on TikTok, you know. So I'm on there, man. I'm on there. I'm following a few people. I just really haven't spent a lot of time on the platform.
Yeah, no, that's all it is, man. Is it's just like sit down and consume a bunch, and that's the only way to fucking learn. Like it's not just going to be handed to you. Nothing is handed to you on TikTok. It's intentionally set that way to keep the adults out. Like it's intentionally set up that way to make it hard to promote yourself unless you're doing something that people genuinely want to watch.
Right on, Matt. Well, hey, what is your TikTok handle?
At bacons.bits, baby.
All right, that's at bacons.bits, baby. Hey, thank you so much, Matt, for coming on here and just kind of explaining TikTok.
Thank you for having me, Zach.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate all the stuff that you do, man. I listen to Dumb and Dumbest every time you guys put one on. And Curtis is really cool. And you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Don't flatter him. Curtis is tolerable. He's not really cool.
Right. I love the way you guys always bicker too, man. That's awesome.
Oh my god, we're so mad at each other all the time. It's like it's a little concerning.
Is there anything you want to plug or let people know where they can reach you?
Follow me everywhere on social at bacons.spits, and we'll hit me up. We'll talk. I'll take care of you. Hopefully, we can help you grow.
Well, thank you very much, Matt, and
thank you, brother.
Have a good night, brother.
You too.
Bye.
Bye now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Matt Bacon. I want to thank him very much for coming on the podcast. You guys can follow him at bacons.bits on TikTok. I'm on TikTok at Zach Cry. And thank you guys for checking in with us on a Friday. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.